And I'm David. Let's talk about the Amazing Race 37, episode 4. We're here. We made it into the stream.
I literally was like,
Literally, nothing there.
and I wasn't in the stream, but here we are.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about episode 4. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdtainment.
Clearly, we need the support.
We need the support, you guys. No, you always start us out of the thing because here's a little behind the curtain for you.
Behind the scenes.
When she hits live, sometimes it doesn't go live right away. Like there's an auto play of the Nerdtainment intro. Sometimes you might see a millisecond flash of us doing whatever. Before that thing auto rolls.
And it's not cute. So we got to pull ourselves out.
We pull ourselves out of the stream and then we go into the stream during the intro.
Which usually I do.
You're good at that.
And you will remind me.
Sometimes I remind you. Today we're both off our game a little bit.
No, today we were doing something else.
But we made it in.
Alrighty. Hi guys, we're a little early, so thanks for coming on in. Chantel has opinions, as do I.
Oh yeah, this was a leg of the race full of questionable choices.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some drama.
But we're leaving Japan.
Yeah,
and we're flying to the jungles of Bali. #1 tourist destination. I don't know why I didn't know that. I feel like people do talk about Bali as like this thing that I didn't realize though that it was consistently voted #1 tourist destination in the world.
No, I hadn't really thought about it, but it does make sense.
Yeah, looks beautiful.
I've never been there.
Yeah, me neither. But I've had friends like go to yoga retreats and
stuff.
Looks quite nice. Maybe I'll go.
Yeah, let's go.
But we're gonna be departing at various times. There's actually quite a gap between first and last place here. It's like a 4-hour gap of leaving. The first team is leaving at 1:45. Bernie and Kerrigan are leaving at 5:38 in the morning.
What? That's so long. And it's going to get even more scary because they're going to be on a plane all by themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Because people are going to the travel agency, right? To get their tickets.
So old school.
Yep. And a lot of them are close together. Carson and Jack are 3 minutes after Scott and Lori.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Anna are like 20 minutes after that. So we actually see people overlapping in the travel agency. And it's a lot of like, can we do that? Like whatever they're doing.
Whatever they got.
We're going to do that.
And for the most part, it's going to work out. We're going to have this first flight going out at 7:15 a.m.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be able to get on it except
Bernie and Kerrigan.
I thought a nightmare.
Why do I even need to watch this episode? They're gone. Like they're the only team on the second flight. But it's one of those things where you get to Bali and you go to the clue board and you have to wait overnight and the clue comes in the morning. But they're grabbing like numbers off of the board in the order that they arrive. And that actually kind of, because it's a cab race, when the first flight lands, it really shuffles up the order of people departed.
Ray, thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, Ray.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're 4 hours apart when they're like, and Bernie and Kerrigan are on this other flight 1,000 years later. I was like, wait, the edit isn't equaling my panic.
Yeah.
The edit didn't panic with me. So I was like, something's
interesting.
up.
Okay.
Which made sense that we had a bit of an equalizer to like, I'll wait for sunrise for this ATV park to open. But before we get to the ATV park, we are going to start to get the talk about the driver's seat.
Yeah, we see Scott and Lori and Carson and Jack, the gamers, at the airport, kind of just loosely discussing strategy.
Loosely.
What would one do
if
one got to the driver's seat first?
Now, they seem to all be under the illusion that, like, the top pack here wants to stay the top pack.
Yeah.
And that they would not give them the most weight or the most work is really what they know at this point.
Right.
But I don't know that that is a strategy that makes sense.
Well, I think, the point ultimately, I think Scott says, like, whatever you do, you just got to make sure that whoever you hurt gets out this leg. No, you don't agree with that?
I agree with that if you are penalizing one team. That is a mentality from the U-turn.
That's right.
or any twist where you are giving one team some sort of penalty, yes, get that team out. That is not what the driver's seat is.
Yeah, it's a
the
totally
driver's
different
seat
thing.
is giving half the group the most work.
Yeah.
Oh, I took photos and I forgot to plug them into my computer. So never mind, I don't have them.
Okay.
Sorry. But I took photos
What was
of
this
the
about?
board.
Okay.
But I can look at it on my
But
phone.
I feel like, just to talk this out,
Yeah.
it's the first driver's seat.
Yeah.
I don't think they fully understand what it is they're going to be encountering.
But like you're not penalizing one team. So like, how does that mentality work?
Right.
Get them out. Get who out?
Yeah.
You? Like
to me,
who?
I'd be like, I don't think I really want the driver's seat power. I'm going to hope that like I'm a good enough team where I can just get through this one, because it seems messy because there's going to be multiple people that you're penalizing.
Yeah, I don't think it's that messy. I think there was a very smart way to play this that we just didn't see it. But let's get there.
I was going to say, it ended up being messy. So there is definitely a messy way to play the driver's seat.
So messy.
Yeah.
All right. Guess what? We're going to ride ATVs first.
Yeah.
We see Jonathan and Anna pull the first card. The top three is really all I wrote down. Nick and Mike, Scott and Lori, and then obviously Bernie and Kerrigan are.
Yes. And I was also kind of shocked to see Jack and Carson arrive 9th to the board.
Right. Something happened.
Yeah, they just got a slow cab.
Got pushed back.
But the ATV thing is just one at a time. You go through the jungle.
It's a very cool way to get your clue. What a fun ride. I would have driven us.
100%.
I would have been like, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
I would have had so much fun. We would have gone really fast, and then we would have hit that tunnel, and I would have had a panic attack.
I would have probably taken my head off. Sarah would have zoomed into that tunnel, and I just would have clean beheading going into the tunnel.
I don't do well in tunnels. That would have definitely taken me by shock, but it's a beautiful ride.
So pretty through the tunnel, and then it opens up into the waterfall. So beautiful.
I asked Bernie and Kerrigan what the timing was like, because I was like, are we spread out? Are we back to back? Obviously, no one's going to pass anyone, but she was like, it wasn't consistent. They were like, it was 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So she felt like, or they felt like they were maybe a half an hour behind.
Like team number 1
being the last, to go down the ATV.
Okay, understood. So they get route info, which is going to send them to the rice fields, which is the roadblock. And this is where the driver's seat is. Who's ready to rice to the occasion?
Who is ready to rice to the occasion?
And who's ready to do the driver's seat, which is going to involve giving 2 teams 15 pounds of rice to thrash.
Yes, 2 15s.
How many 20s?
3 20s.
And would that make it 4 25s?
No, it's 5 and 5s.
Okay.
So half of the group is going to get 25 pounds and the other half 2 15s or 3 20s.
Yeah.
And Jonathan and Anna don't quite get it at first because they don't give themselves any weight.
Right. Exactly. Yes. It's so classic. Like I remember there was like an episode of Drag Race. Sorry to bring up another show.
Please.
But like where someone was assigning materials to people and then they forgot themselves.
Yeah.
And so they ended up with the worst materials.
Yes.
They were like, oh my God, like I don't want this.
Yeah.
You got to get yourself taken care of first and then go from there.
Yes. And obviously you are going to give yourself the lightest weight. I agree.
Yeah.
So they should have started with 15 for themselves. But instead of like reconfiguring, they just swap out one team.
Because they're trying to get it done quickly. Because I think they want to be done with the driver's seat before any other team shows up. And they just want to like make their selections in peace. But
that was your first mistake.
Yeah. It's like
that's your second mistake.
Because it's just like they just wanted to get it done. So they just swap. And they ended up giving Bernie and Kerrigan.
They swapped with Bernie and Kerrigan,
who they had meant to give 15 pounds.
They took the 15 from Bernie and Kerrigan and put it on themselves. But the other person with 15,
Melinda and
Erica, leaving Jack and Carson 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Mark and Brett. My loves.
20
pounds.
On and holding.
I'm sorry. Those two right there, I feel like you easily take one of them and give a 25.
100%.
What are you doing?
Mark and Brett, that's no offense to those guys.
They should
automatically 25.
Yes.
Look at your biceps.
Yes.
You're getting 25. Sorry about it.
Like, I feel like it would have taken 2 more seconds for them to just look at the whole thing as a whole.
But what they did,
they're not going to do that.
It was so weird. We want the next 3 teams to be behind us. It looked like they were just trying to build the biggest lead that they could. And I'm like,
and I think that's smart. That's what I would do. I would absolutely give the next 3 teams the most to make sure that I have a good lead.
Okay.
And I do my best to be first this leg. Right?
I just think that what it kind of does is if you give the first 3 teams or however many teams right after you, you're sort of squishing the whole pack into one grouping. I would give the last teams the most weight to really stretch out the time between me and last, because I just need to get not last place this leg. So I would want the longest amount of time between me and whatever team showed up last to the driver's seat board.
I think that is what Scott and Lori thought was going to happen. Keep all of us in the top together and maybe the gamers as well.
Yeah.
And put the back of the pack out. Who cares?
Yeah.
I think the opposite. I hear you though, but I'm like, no, I'm in first place.
Yeah.
Let me keep my first place. And you guys scrunch up together and battle it
may
out.
The best team win.
Don't care about any of
y'all. Or the worst team lose. Yeah.
So the next mistake Jonathan and Anna are going to make
is using the express pass.
Oh,
couldn't believe it.
Tell me how this makes sense.
Could not believe it.
No.
First of all, you're in first place.
You're in first.
Express pass when you're in 7th or 8th, trying to jump ahead.
When you have struggled with a challenge and you're not getting it, and you might potentially be in the back of the pack.
Because guess what? The rice challenge was actually really easy.
So easy.
People thrashed 25 pounds of rice in like 10 minutes.
But even if you don't know, let's just say you don't know. Jonathan says, like, this is time consuming. Again,
you don't know that.
Why is this how you use your express pass though? I don't care how time consuming it is. If it's time consuming for you, it's time consuming for all the other teams behind you.
Did Anna choose to do this?
Yes.
Roadblock?
Yes.
Well, no wonder Jonathan suggested that they use the express pass.
He couldn't stand there and handle it.
He doesn't have any faith in her.
OMG.
I said it. I said it.
He said it.
The evidence suggests that the evidence we have seen so far this season suggests that Jonathan was like, ooh, Anna's in charge. Let's use the express pass. I don't know if that's explicitly the reason, but I think there's probably an undercurrent.
Okay. I just don't like, they immediately get in the cab and they're like, I hope it wasn't a waste of an express pass. And I was like, I can tell you right now, it already is. Like, how
unbelievable that they use this.
Why in the world are you trying to just be first place?
Yeah.
When you're already first place. Like, I don't.
They're going to regret it later down the line.
Completely going to regret
it. Where they're back of the pack and struggling and wish that they had that express pass to use. It is so, like, regardless of what the task is, you are in first place. This is not the moment to use the express pass. I
don't remember what the next point I was going to make. I'm just so in shock that they used it.
I know.
I can't believe that they anyway. Well, it's as if it never existed now.
It's gone.
So they're going to leave.
Yep.
Leaving themselves with the least amount. I was like, this is just.
I know. But I don't know if they could go back at that.
No, I'm sure they couldn't.
Yeah.
No, I doubt they could go back.
But these teams now wander up. They're like reviewing the board.
Yes.
Trying to make sense of this. Who got what? They're like, there really was no pattern because of the last minute switcheroo and whatever. So like any strategy that they had was confused by, swapping Jonathan and Anna with Bernie and Kerrigan and all of that. So teams are kind of trying to decode their thought process in this. And then they get through and they're like, well, I guess they use the express pass because they're not even here.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I do think it's funny that Scott and Lori, they're team 2. They show up and Scott and Lori are livid. They are so mad that they got the most.
Lori's thrown on that rice hat and she's like, I am so mad knowing it came from them.
And every person that walks up, Scott's like, did you see?
Oh, they
use the express pass. They took the least amount for them. I mean, I'm here for the shit talk.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
But I'm like, Scott and Lori, you're such a strong, you're team
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
Of course you get 25 pounds.
Of course, yeah.
Like, I'm not surprised you got 25 pounds. You're a strong team.
They're surprised, but it's like, remember, Scott and Lori, you actually were talking to Jack and Carson at the airport about this trip, not Jonathan and Anna.
Yeah.
So
Jack and Carson were like, I think there's an unwritten or unspoken rule. Well, clearly
not.
No.
You got to say it out loud.
You thought it was, but it's not.
You know who's not there for the shit talking?
Who?
Brett and Mark, because their driver took them God knows where. Mark is like, give me the phone. I love that they're just grabbing cell phones of cab drivers and entering information in. Somehow this cab driver said, no, ma'am, I'm taking you here.
How about this location instead?
And Mark looks and he's like, this is not what I put in. We will never know if that's the thing he put in or
like
not.
Literally showing the producer. He's like, I did not.
One can say this is not what I put in, but I don't know.
The driver does say sorry.
He does. And Mark's like, we're supposed to go here. It's 43 minutes
away.
Like,
43 minutes away. I was like, oh, not my beloveds.
I know, I was worried for you.
I had a moment of panic along with them. I can't imagine. And then like the wide shot, they're turning around and like someone's backyard.
Truly, they're at like the deadest end of dead ends.
Like, where are they? Yeah. Oh, this is such a panic.
In the juggle. Mm-hmm. So they are just having really bad luck with cab drivers. At the Rice, Jack and Carson actually got to the Rice in 6th place, which is, they're like bouncing around. Yeah. They left in 2nd. They arrived to the ATV's 9th. Now they're in 6th. Their cab luck is just sort of fluctuating. And yeah, Scott is ranting, but they do end up leaving in 2nd place because, like I said, it's not that hard to thrash.
It's not.
A lot of rice. Lori does it lickety split.
Lickety split, and she has 25 pounds.
Yeah.
So they're out first of the group who does it, but clearly that's 2nd place. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we are going to see the girls. Kerrigan is going to do this.
Yeah.
Kerrigan, so.
I love seeing some of the strategy. I took a note here that Han was flipping the rice like an omelet.
Oh,
you see that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just like a gold sifting kind of thing that you can do, I think, but she's flipping it around. And Lori, I noticed, was leaving all the extra leaves that got thrashed along with the rice grains. She was just dumping it all into the bag. Whereas you see Melinda, I think, is like picking out leaves. Somebody else is trying to blow leaves out of the basket. And I'm like, oh, Lori actually she was onto it. Like, it doesn't have to be pristine. You can throw in a little bit of
Melinda cracked me up in this. This Melinda's first roadblock. This is Mama.
Yeah.
And Erica's like, you got this.
Yeah.
First off, Erica's like so positive at every challenge towards everybody.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
But Melinda's like, where am I? What's my station? Where's the leaves?
She's like, here? Is this mine? And whoever was like, no, that's my dead stuff. You have to go to the middle.
She's like, I gotta go get it. She didn't seem to know where she was or what she was doing at any moment, and I loved every second of it. So funny.
So yeah, Scott and Lori are leaving, and now we've seen Jonathan and Anna get to the Detour. Scott and Lori are going to get there. The Detour is Penjor or Pajagon. So they've got to decorate like the recreating of this like decorative thing.
Yes.
Or recreating of this like head sculpture deliveries. They're kind of a similar.
They were very similar.
It's a similar skill set. Yeah. Both of these things. It's like memory, attention to detail. I couldn't tell which one was harder.
No, I would have liked a little bit of a difference. The only real difference is you have to leave your Pajagon to go to another location to get your ingredients, and that does add in a layer of. Oops, we could get lost and have mistakes and stuff.
Right.
So that's the only real difference. Otherwise, it's still attention to detail and decorating and putting something together and then traveling it to another location. I would have liked a little bit more difference here.
I thought it was when Phil described the Pajagon thing, it was like, they're going to have to memorize this construction, but it's like, not really that memorized. Like the example is just right there for them to reference the whole time. There's 2 different things
to memorize. No.
You have to know the ingredients that you go. I thought it was like you have to memorize like they would never be able to see the example again.
Oh.
but they memorized the ingredients, went to the market, grabbed them all. And then the example was right there for them to like.
Yeah, no, I think the challenge was how many green apples, how many flowers,
how many muffins.
And then like, in theory, you could forget that there were muffins completely.
Yeah.
It helps that two teams are going to do this together, I think.
I think so too.
That was helpful.
That was huge. Yeah. But we see Jonathan and Anna are going to pick Penjor.
Yeah. No, I agree with Coco. I didn't want to do either one of these, to be honest.
I know
I was like, this is
Penjor thing.
I don't want to do either.
No. Like, where
I
can
definitely
we like
wouldn't
learn
have
a
gone.
dance or sing?
Yeah, I was like, where can I do a
where can we
dance?
perform?
Yeah. I will just sing up and down the block until someone gives me a clue.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't do the Pajagon because I wouldn't risk going to a market.
Yeah.
But I was
and
like,
this market was even harder than normal.
Yes. It was like people's homes or something.
Yeah. Jonathan and Anna, they choose Penjor.
Yeah.
Jonathan really has to go to the bathroom. I love that they showed that. That must happen so much during the race, but we never really see it.
Happens ever. What
you don't?
are you doing? No.
People are racing for a full day and you don't think they stop to use the bathroom?
No, I mean, I think you do, but you just do it in a smart,
strategic way.
Yeah.
Well,
you're like, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then we're going to go do this task. No.
It was very funny. And Anna was like, hold it.
Yeah, she was like, deal with it.
And then finally she's like, fine, go.
Which I would be like, too. I'm like, I'm holding it.
Mm-hmm.
I hold it all day if I have to. Or I'll pee on myself if I have to. I'm in a race for
They don't have to because they just use their express pass needlessly.
No, they just used up all of their express pass time going to the bathroom.
That's literally it.
That was it.
That's all the time they saved. Yeah. So it's like you said, it's all the teams are ultimately going to choose Penjor, except Nick and Mike are brothers and Han and Holden are siblings, are going to do.
They're going to arrive together, kind of decide together, and this is going to work out for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to pass anyone, I don't think.
No, it's like roughly the same kind of situation. When Jonathan and Anna see Scott and Lori arrive to Penjor,
there they
Jonathan's like,
"What?
We've blown it. We wasted the express pass."
I mean, he doesn't say it clearly, but I think it was in his soul.
100%. Because when you see them walk in, you realize how quickly you could have thrashed the rice.
Yes, it wasn't hard. And you were not in danger.
You should have believed in Anna.
It kind of gave me flashbacks to episode 1 when Jonathan and Anna acted like you're either first place or you've lost.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like that's how they used the express pass.
That's
if
how
we're
he thinks.
not first place at this leg, we've lost the race.
He's not going to heal that wound in the course of this race.
No?
Like that's going to be who Jonathan is the whole time.
Let's do therapy, Jonathan.
Maybe there's like one leg here and there where he like has it down and then he goes up because they have a nice talk about it and he processes and he's like, I'm going to be different the next leg. But then the leg after, he's going to go back. And
I don't know. Okay.
I thought it was very funny when Scott shows up and he's like, I'm going to treat them like my kids. When my kids do something I don't like, I ignore them. This is not a parenting podcast, but I also question that.
Yeah, no, that's not good parenting.
Ignoring your children?
I was like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think you should give your children the silent treatment.
I have read articles. My brother-in-law is a therapist, and we have talked about that. Like, ignore your children is shown to like
that feels like psychologically dangerous.
Yes, it is. They like get into relationships with people who like don't communicate. Like it's been studied. But I was like,
but it's good TV.
But I love it on TV, Scott. 100%. Absolutely ignore Jonathan and Anna.
So let's see. We're back at the rice. We see Nick and Mike finish third, and I'm counting Jonathan and Anna as finishing first.
Right.
So Nick and Mike are out next, and Han and Holden, Alyssa and Josiah. I think for the most part, despite the like differences in weight, people are kind of leaving in roughly the same order as they arrive.
Okay. Alyssa's going to finish, and I just have a quote. You are the toughest woman to ever run this race.
Josiah he worships her.
Oh, I love him. And I forgot to talk about his drive through the jungle.
Didn't you love that?
Loved it.
He is truly savoring every moment of this race.
He's so fun to watch.
He's taking in everything around him. It's just like joy emanates from him. Mm-hmm. And he loves Alyssa so deeply.
Don't you love that?
Loves her.
Yeah.
We do see your boys, Brett and Mark, arrive in last place at the race.
They're
in the mix. There are still teams there.
Yes. Yeah. And they don't have 25 pounds. They only have 20 because we put no thought into it whatsoever.
No way to make sense of it.
Nope. They're going to laugh about like, I guess no one has ever seen us do a task.
Yeah.
So they don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to bounce back to the Detour. We're going to see the siblings. They're doing Pajagon, Alyssa and Josiah, and the gamers are going to show up at Pinjor. We're just going to basically get a lot of people up.
And when Alyssa and Josiah show up, we see the first of a couple moments where people don't see the two arrows indicating where you need to go. And Josiah says, there's no way to know which way to go. And then the camera zooms in on the sign with the arrows telling you which way to go.
There's no way. I did hear that was actually really high.
Oh, really?
Maybe we couldn't tell with the camera.
Sure.
But it wasn't like
it wasn't eye level. It was at my eye level.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it was a little harder to see.
Yeah.
So, but some teams see it immediately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mark loses a shoe in the rice.
I wanted to like know more about this.
Nobody else seemed to struggle with that.
No. And when he was doing the Pandora, I was like, did he fish out his shoe?
Right.
Like,
where's the shoe?
The follow up on the shoe.
Yeah, you showed us the shoe. So you need to show us where that story ends.
I didn't see him running shoeless around that beautiful village. So did he get new shoes? I needed to follow up.
But we see Melinda and Erica. They finished 7th in the rice. Jeff and Pops are 8th. Brett and Mark are now 9th. They've jumped over Bernie and Kerrigan. And
because they had 20 pounds.
Yeah, and because Kerrigan is thrashing like 3 little fronds of rice at a time.
No.
She has the smallest little bunches of rice.
No.
That she's whacking against the thing.
No. Now, Jeff.
I saw what I saw.
Jeff is like, of course I have 25 pounds. Have you seen me?
Yeah.
And he's like, let's go. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Just, you're a strong team.
Yep.
Do the 25 pounds.
At the Penjor, Scott and Lori are bickering.
They're so loud that the other teams are like,
oh.
What's that? What?
Trouble in paradise over there.
I
Okay.
mean, they seem pretty like supportive. Everything we're hearing is like, just let me do this. Or can you help me here? Like they're not being mean, but I guess it was very loud.
I guess so. And I'm just like, it's funny to see teams in the lead, like combusting. It's like, what are you so like? You're ahead of all these teams, and you're the ones like bickering the most. Jonathan and Anna get a bad check because like the tip of the thing is not attached, but then they fix that and they're through this first. So they haven't completely wasted the express pass because they still are in the lead.
No, it is wasted. Do not.
I'm trying to be nice.
Phrase it any other way. They're still going to be first, sure, but wasted it.
I love Josiah's little muttering. Let them win this battle so we can win the war.
Yes.
On the way out.
And that is how you win the amazing race.
Yes.
Right. So we're going to see the brothers and siblings looking for their items, going to independent.
They can't even find the market.
No.
Because I think they're expecting lines of booths.
Oh,
That's what I would have been looking for.
Yes.
No. This is an Indonesian market where you just walk into somebody's home to find a stand of apples.
Yeah.
I literally would have been like, is this a market or is this their kitchen table?
Right. No, it was very confusing.
Yeah.
This does look difficult. We're going to see mom and daughter choose Pinjor.
Yeah.
Brett and Mark, Pops and Jeff are going to show up at Pinjor. And then we're going to see Scott and Lori get their
a good check
and get out of there.
So it's like they get the good check on the hangy thing and then they have to go mount it on this like avenue of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which doesn't give teams any trouble, but it's just like one more thing. Like the good check doesn't mean you're done. You have to then go stick it in the ground and then you'll get your next clue. Then we see Bernie and Kerrigan arrive.
Yes.
And they are also not going to see that high sign.
But they are short ladies.
They have a much
my height.
They have a much harder time than Alyssa and Josiah, though, I think.
Yeah, right. Alyssa and Josiah do go like the wrong way. But these ladies seemingly just
wander
the whole place. It seems
it's as if they got in their cabin, left, and then said, "Oh, should we go back to where we came from?"
Wasted the calories and did it on foot.
Yeah, they did.
So they are exhausted.
Yeah,
they are reading a map and don't even believe what they see on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are so sorts of confused.
Yeah,
it's going to take them a while to see this sign.
The communication breakdown is just
what's going to happen?
Monumental.
going to be a lot.
So Scott and Lori are finishing second, like we said. Jack and Carson are finishing third on the Penjor.
Yeah.
The Pajagon people are finally finding their supplies.
Yeah. The excitement that we're going to get here,
Yeah.
we're just going to get people going through it, is that a bunch of these people are going to finish at the same time and just start running. And no one actually knows where they're going. So we're going to see this whole herd go out that little entrance.
Yeah.
Take a left.
Yes. And this is after the Pajagon people finished, which I actually enjoyed the way that challenge finished.
Yeah.
Where they have to like walk with the thing balanced on their head and then it like falls apart as they're like getting down on their knees and they're having to like rebuild. And did you see the moment where Nick and Mike leave the Pajagon place where they're building it and they have to walk somewhere and they don't know where they're going?
They put those things on their head and then they're like, the directions are in my bag.
So he's not going to get down and get the directions out. And they go whatever way. And he goes, it has to be this way.
It has to be this way.
It has to not be that way. Oh my God.
That's always what you do on the Amazing Race.
But they were right. Thank God.
Yeah. And
so
it did have to be that way.
My point in bringing that up is that those teams are in the mix of this huge crowd of teams running around this city in Indonesia.
Going to the pit stop.
Yeah.
So we see them all exit. And then Melinda and Erica, luckily, are just a little bit behind. They're not part of this group.
Yeah.
And they're going to look at somebody's phone. And then I love that they trust, or at least Erica, trust her.
It was just Erica.
Because,
Melinda was questioning.
Yeah. They go straight. They pass where all the other teams go left.
Yeah.
And Erica's like, it's this way. Melinda's like, are you sure? And Erica's like, let's just go.
But Melinda's like, but everybody else is over there.
It seemed like that.
So you might be right, but you also might be wrong.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong, all those teams are together.
Yeah.
And if you're right, at least we're still with all the other teams.
True, but because they're it looks like they're kind of leaving the area, right?
Yeah.
As they keep going, you're like getting away from this little village area. So I think I would be nervous too. Like, are you sure? But I love that Erica trusts her instincts. That's going to take you places in this race.
Yeah.
And it took her right to the mat before that large ass group that like circles right back to where they were.
Yeah. No, she was really the MVP of this situation. The Bernie and Kerrigan meltdown was really hard to watch because they were, by the way, they got to the Penjor and they were in the mix. There were still teams there, right? Like this whole mass exodus to the pit stop happened after
the mix,
but they were like at the Penjor when there were still teams there.
That's true.
Leading up to that, it was one of the most painful like exit confessional interviews I remember seeing. I think generally they do a very good job in The Amazing Race of hiding who goes home in the confessional interview.
Right.
You might say like, oh, it's dark during this confessional interview. So obviously they're the team who went home. But like attitude wise, I think they really give the teams a good pep talk and like steal the best bites that they possibly can from those interviews to make it seem like every team is in the race and you can't predict just based on those confessional interviews at the end of the leg. But the way Bernie and Kerrigan were crying and the tension was so thick between them in the confessional interview, I was like, yeah, going home. Because Kerrigan is like tears streaming down her face and she's like, I'm not always gonna fight. Sometimes I'm just gonna say something and I need you to listen to me and I need you to hear me and trust me. Don't make me fight to prove that I'm right every time.
And Bernie's face is
blank, Sarah.
She was like, I'll have none of this.
She's staring at Kerrigan and she's listening and she's looking at Kerrigan crying. And Kerrigan finishes what she's saying and she turns back to the producer and she shakes her shoulders.
Like,
and that's it.
Like, I'll add nothing to that. She said what she said.
I guess she had to get that off of her chest.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're like, oh, wow, no, this relationship is not doing well at this point.
Yeah.
This isn't looking good.
Yeah.
But I think that they were too far behind. I think they've got lost for too long.
Yeah.
Even though they show up and there are still people doing the Penjor, there's a lot to do on the Penjor. It does take some time.
Yeah.
I did have someone online leave a comment saying, well, then why didn't they switch to the other task?
They wouldn't be able to find it.
To try to pass. And I'm like, that's what the information that we have, that we know that this is it. These are the only teams. You don't know if there are 3 teams at the other Penjor that you or and you might pass them
or whatever.
Doing this. Like you don't know where the other teams are. So it's not a definite, hey, there's a team here, I should go to the
Generally,
other one.
when you see people switch, you see them like, oh, we have a little bit of a lead, and so we're going to switch because we maybe got some cushion. You don't see a lot of last place teams switching.
Yeah, I mean, if you are last place and you can see where everybody is and are like, oh, I can make up time over there, great. But like, you don't have all of that. Like, they ran in circles and they just finally found this place.
Yeah.
Do they really need to go run in another circle and see how many teams are over there? No, that's wasting time.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to like go to where you got to go.
Yeah.
Do the tasks that you got to do. But I think they were so far behind, it really didn't matter.
So far behind. And they do end up by themselves in the Penjor challenge. They finish last. And I think we should just go to the pit stop order at this point.
Absolutely. Because the most important part is that Melinda and Erica are going to beat that group. So, first place,
Jonathan and Anna.
Express Pass users.
They at least got a trip to Croatia and Montenegro.
They did. They won some
Express
tea cash.
Yeah.
And they're going to get to take some more trips with that. Jack and Carson somehow passed Scott and Lori.
I know.
And they're gonna get second.
They were all over the place
Yeah.
in this leg of the race. Fun to see them finish in second, but Scott and Lori are right behind them in third.
Yes.
And then, like you say, Melinda and Erica,
Thank
fourth
goodness.
place.
They're on my draft team.
Yes.
They got fourth place because Erica knows how to navigate.
Yep. Alyssa and Josiah fifth. I mean, Phil literally, I'm like,
I've never seen that many people on a map before. That was
Sarah, I literally wondered, does Phil know their names yet?
No, he's like, I don't know who got here when.
He's like, so fifth was you, sixth was you, seventh was you, and I'm like, wait a minute. Does Phil normally get prepped as the team is approaching the mat, and they're like, by the way, this is like 100%. Devil Wears Prada. This is Scott and Lori, the parents of 8.
Like this is who this is coming up right now. Yes, 100%. They know. They're like, team 4 is coming up. That is Scott and Laura, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that is what he gets every single time.
Yeah.
They've never had like 6 teams on the mat at once.
Phil's spoken to these people probably 10 minutes total.
And he couldn't keep track who got their win. So producers, half of that was VO.
Yeah.
If you notice.
Oh, he was like, team number 5, Alyssa and Josiah. Yeah. Like, it's a different audio quality.
Like cutting around, Phil being like, this team, place. It was like, oh man, that was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Phil did not know what was happening right now.
He was making his way through that. But so it's Melinda and Erica 4th, Alyssa and Josiah 5th, Han and Holden 6th, Brett and Mark 7th, which is great because they were in 10th place, getting into the rice thrashing. Nick and Mike in 8th place.
What are y'all doing?
I told you last week. I think 8th place is their fate.
No.
I'm pretty sure I said exactly that.
That can't be.
Because you were like, these are a top 3 team. They're going to get it together.
Yes.
They did get it together, and then somehow they ended up in 8th.
Well, okay.
You were in a group.
They were in the group
of 6 teams. How did you get there? Melinda and Erica, fine. They went a different path. How did you get to the mat after Alyssa, Josiah, Han and Holden, Brett and Mark?
Yeah, those people beat them.
Put some pep in your step and get me some points on this draft.
We're hoping them, and they're on your draft.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're in 8th place.
No, Jeff and Mike, come on. Well, first off, I need Pops and Jeff to get back up. But I think that, like, they got stuck in this group and whatever.
I got more faith in Jeff and Pops than I do in Nick and Mike at this point.
No,
I want you to be better. I am rooting for you, but I'm giving you some tough love right now.
Yes.
And I know this already happened and it's all in the past. But if I can will any sort of energy, beam it into the past, because time is a circle, then I'm hoping that you are going to get a top 3 finish at some point.
An illusion. Where are we? Yes. Yeah, I have to imagine Nick and Mike are a top 5 team, but y'all gotta do better.
Something
for sure.
has to change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I love this like discussion at the mat.
Oh my gosh.
That Phil has. He's like,
give us the dirt,
it's basically
y'all.
Phil's like a tribal council.
Yeah.
And he's like, tell me about what happened today.
I felt like Phil was at a rose ceremony.
Yeah.
What's the tea, friends?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
And they're like, well, Jonathan and Anna certainly have a target on their backs now. If
And he
they
was
didn't
like,
already.
do tell.
Yeah,
do
tell me
tell.
more. And then they're like, and Scott and Lori, bullshit.
Yeah. Wait, everyone agrees? Oh, good.
Melinda's like, those two come up to me and tell me they're the slowest team. And I'm like, excuse me?
That was pretty funny from
I
Melinda.
can't even run.
She's like, no, I am slow. Lori, you just like thrash that rice at record speed. She's like, I cannot run. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
But those are like sort of the top 2 teams. I put Jack and Carson in the mix. That's the top 3 currently.
Wow.
And so this group is like, yeah, those folks, we're on to them.
I mean, it's fun to have a little bit of dirt. That's what these twists give us.
Yeah. And I think that potentially is like a preview of a U-turn moment.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And this is what we need. We need this kind of stuff before a U-turn, because lately we've been showing up at a U-turn and everyone's like, I don't want to ruffle feathers.
Oh.
No, let's ruffle some feathers, y'all.
Yeah.
I want to see people get U-turned and y'all mean it.
Uh-huh.
We're racing.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see people move up and down this list.
Yeah.
I don't want the same top 5 every time.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
So Bernie and Kerrigan are last. They are eliminated. Lots and lots of tears in their elimination confessional. Like, I literally was like, I don't know if in this moment they're feeling like this was a good experience.
Right.
I think maybe they need some time to process. And it sounds like your exit interview with them, they were like a pleasure.
First off, please go watch this exit interview. I obviously didn't know what to expect. They were barely in the edit.
Yeah.
And what was in the edit was just them kind of fighting. And again, I was like, oh, were they eliminated and now they're not even friends? Like,
right.
What is this?
Yeah.
But we had such a great conversation. They were so fun to talk to. And like, this is how they got cast, right?
Yeah.
Like, these people are entertaining. And then like, we just didn't get to see it in the edit, but they were so fun to talk to. We talked dirt about that driver's seat. They had opinion, which I love to see.
Well, they got screwed with the driver's seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then also they were like, yeah, our relationship did sort of like have to take a dive, but they worked through it. And if you can believe it, Bernie was like, this girl right here, more important than $1 million.
Oh.
So like, they got emotional. It was beautiful. Their
Love
relationship is very strong. So yeah, I highly recommend watching that interview. I loved talking with them.
Amazing.
It's great.
Well, the preview for next time, we are going to see a live U-turn vote.
And that
wait.
Dope. Yes, producers. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then I did notice in the preview, Jonathan is snapping at Anna about, I don't remember exactly what.
I'm shocked. About the waste of an express pass?
Yeah.
Might it be that? I love to see if they think that they use that correctly or not.
Yeah.
Or what they think about how they did the driver's seat.
They've got to get U-turned. They've got it. It's got to be them that gets U-turned out of this.
I would absolutely U-turn
based on the fact that they absolutely bungled the driver's seat situation.
But also they're just a really strong team.
They are.
But honestly, if they're top of the pack, it's going to be hard to U-turn them because again, you don't U-turn someone who's going to be
But the bitterness in this cast right now may be too strong.
Maybe.
It might push sense out of people's heads. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to be wise with that U-turn. I mean, I love a good, juicy live vote, but if they're at the top of the pack, it's going to be hard to U-turn them or Scott and Lori. Like, you kind of have to see like who's good that has gotten pushed to the back.
And you're also ultimately going to need to think about, I don't know how much the teams know about like how many minutes ahead of us is first place.
I mean, I think
if they have that information, then that could definitely play. Like if Jonathan and Anna did truly like absolutely waste this express pass and they're only like 10 minutes ahead of most of the teams, I wouldn't be scared to U-turn them at that point, even if they're in first. I don't know. We'll see.
That's risky.
Yeah.
Juicy. I love it. Let's get a little drama.
Yes.
A little burn.
Yes.
Some groups of little alliance or teams that are working together.
Yeah, that's been fun this season. Like to see, I think we've kind of seen the siblings work together a couple times now.
Worked well together.
The parent and child relationships are kind of bonding together. So we'll see how that stuff plays out. I imagine the gays are working together. Haven't seen it.
No,
because they've been in wildly different places. But
no idea.
Yeah.
All right. Fun times.
Yes.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us live in the chat.
Yes, thank you. And if you're joining us later, let us know how you felt about Bernie and Kerrigan being eliminated. I did lose them from my draft.
That's
team.
right. Guess what? I'm the only person with a full team here.
Wow.
So even
I'm
though
gonna let you have that.
Thank you. Even though I am in last place, I'm not by any means winning.
I mean, we said this last week, but I should absolutely be in last place because Scott and Lori have gotten me 12 of my 15 points.
Yeah, they are your point getters for sure. But if Nick and Mike can step it up, which I think
they can't.
They can.
No.
I think they can.
Sorry.
But I have Pops and Jeff, Brett and Mark, and Melinda and Erica, and I don't hate my team at all.
I don't either.
I love my little team. I am in last place, but I love that team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cesar has lost one team, Ricky has lost one team, and now you've lost one team.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anyone on my team is next to go, but who do you think is next to go?
Yeah, let us know that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because the rest of this, who's left, there has been like a strong middle of the pack. Like which one of them is falling to
last.
the end?
Yeah. Yeah, give us your predictions for that, and then who's going to get U-turned next week. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the record, Cesar got 26 points, so he is very much in the lead.
Running away with it.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we shall be here maybe same time, same place next week.
Yes.
We'll get all your notifications if that changes.
Yes.
In order. We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Okay, bye. I don't have an
She's gonna do a video
yet.
now.
Just
Set
1 second.